evening, everybody. I hope you are well today. You've got myself, Kmack, on Kmackchannel tonight. If you are in the chat, please like and please subscribe. This video will be available for other people to watch as well. I'll leave it on my channel. Today I am going to do a tribute show to the two legends who we leave behind in Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. I think this is just a fantastic picture of Hendo. And I also think it's a great picture because I'm sat in a position where I would love to be, which is Calvin Harris's position. I'd love to be Calvin Harris. I just thought that was a really good photo, and especially where he was positioned. I thought I sat perfectly in there. Big up Redbird. I hope you like this show. There's going to be plenty of smiles. I'm going to be showing loads of video clips, photographs, going through loads of history about Jordan Henderson and also Roberto Firmino. I think Roberto Firmino has pretty much been an unsung hero for a number of years. He deserves a lot of credit, a lot of respect. He has been absolutely fantastic for us. And I'll go through some of his stats and I'll go through some of his best highlights, because when he performed in the big games, we won those big games. Big games as well. Big up. Okay, so I can see a couple of people in the chat. If you've got any questions, put them in there. If you've got anything nice to write about Hendo and also Firmino, please put them in there, because there's been a huge amount of disrespect around those two players and it's not justified. Like, we're getting 40 million for Fabinho that we paid 38 million for, and we're getting 12 million for Jordan Henderson and we paid 16 million for him like 13 years ago and 5 years ago. Like, seriously, we have been given a massive opportunity to reinvest that money and not lose those guys on free transfers like some of the others which we've lost on free transfers. So I just thought I'd mention that. I might have some guests on as well. I have sent out the invite to them, but whether they're going to join is a mystery. But nevertheless, I will still carry on regardless. And go through some incredible stuff about these guys. Okay. Yeah, there'll never be another Bobby as well, by the way. I mean, the fact that we're going to lose Bobby, Hendo and Firmino all in one season, and Milner all in one season, is just, it's frightening. But, you know, we have to move on. We have to move on. What I will do, though, is I'll start this off on a lighter note, and what we can do is we can have a look at the Hendo Shuffle, because we all love the Hendo Shuffle. So here we go. European Super Cup 2019. Here we go. Big up. World Cup Shuffle. We will miss that shuffle. We will miss it. You see Big Fab there as well. Big Fab just on the right-hand side. Yeah, get Shimmercast out of the way. That could have been a very, very special season, that. Very, very special. Community Shield. Off Rushy. There we go. There's Big Fab again in the background. Okay, hope you enjoyed that little shuffle videos. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to actually put a different background on, because this is about these two. It's about these two, and it will be sad to see them go, but I think it is the right time for them to go, if I'm completely honest. I think, unfortunately, Henderson's been a bit of a scapegoat over the last couple of years, because Klopp's overplayed him, played him when he shouldn't have been played, relied on him way too much than he should have, because unfortunately his legs aren't there, and his legs are his main attribute. And also, Fabinho as well. Fabinho should have been, over the last couple of years, he should have been in and out. His minutes should have been managed. It's really interesting, the fact that these two guys have been the scapegoats for bad management, if I'm honest. Really bad management, if I'm honest. I'm just going to go through a couple of things as well about these guys, okay? So, first of all, I'm just going to touch on a couple of things about Jordan Henderson, because I think Henderson has been an absolutely incredible player, human being, captain. Honestly, it's really hard to not pick this guy out as just an absolute ultimate leader, if I'm honest. So, Henderson signed for us 2011 for 16 million. Okay, he's got 73 caps and 3 goals for England, and he made his debut in 2010 against France. Okay, so he got his debut before he came to Liverpool, so he was playing really well for Sunderland when we signed him. Okay, he's a born and bred Sunderland lad. Okay, scored his debut goal in the 2011 season, a day before my birthday, 27th of July. The interesting thing about Henderson is our win ratio with Henderson is just under 60%. So having Henderson in the team was a deciding factor in whether we won games. Okay, we won 293 games with Henderson, lost 103. Drew 103 and lost 96. Okay, and he played 360 games, 29 goals, 45 assists for Liverpool. In total, he played 492 games with 33 goals and 58 assists. So Henderson had a goal in him. Henderson had an assist in him. Every couple of games, you're guaranteed to get something from him. Probably every 5 games, you're guaranteed to get something from him. So he had his breakthrough as an 18-year-old, 2008-2009 season. We signed him when he was 20, and that was Kenny Dalglish. Signed him when he was 20. So for us, I mean, he's won League Cup, Champions League 2019, European Super Cup 2019, FIFA World Cup 2019. He's also had Premier League and the FA Cup. And he's also got the Football Writers Footballer of the Year as well, which was 2019, 2020, which I think was very well deserved, if I'm honest. I think it was deserved. So he had to take over from Gerrard. And, you know, he's played for Liverpool, he's played for England. He's a fit lad. Is he a captain? Can he take that mantle taken over from Gerrard? Well, you know, at the end of the day, we've won so much with him, and he was the captain through the whole lot. So I would say yes. I would say he did a really, really good job. A really, really good job. A little bit about Henderson as well. You know, he's he's got an MBE. He was supporting Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ. He's also works under a number of NHS charities. You know, he's done a hell of a lot outside of his career as well. And the whole thing about Steven Gerrard is even Steven Gerrard said he couldn't have passed it on to a better person. Like, he said that about Henderson. I couldn't have passed my captaincy on to a better person, and he's proud of him. That's what he said when we won the league, and Gerrard messaged him and said, like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's an interesting thing. So a little bit more about the Henderson thing as well is we haven't had a huge amount of captains that have obviously lift trophies. So if you're looking at European Cup trophy captains, we've only got Emlyn Hughes, Phil Thompson, Graham Souness, and Steven Gerrard, and obviously Jordan Henderson. You know, a lot of trophies were won by the same people. You know, Graham Souness picked it up a couple of times, and also the Premier League was the only time that that's been won by Liverpool, and obviously Henderson was the captain for that. So I just think it's really interesting, and that whole thing that everyone was talking about still, you know, we could have got Clint Dempsey. You know, I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we did what we did. And I'm going to show another video now as well of Henderson, which I think is interesting. Bear with me. It is. Okay, so I'm going to show his goals. Okay, so let's have a look at his top 10 goals. Okay, I have to be careful about getting copywritten, so I've had to pick a couple of these videos which belong to other people because they do show them on Sky, but I don't want to risk getting my channel taken out. So here's his top 10 goals. I remember that goal. That was sweet. I think we scored a lot more in that game as well. That was an incredible game as well. Do you remember that? It was 5-4 when Klopp's glasses came off. Doesn't that remind you of a Fab goal? Guys, you did it against Man City and Chelsea. I think we all forget some of the goals Hendo scored, you know. That goal is just incredible. It's incredible, I'm sorry. It goes so high into the top corner. That is a special strike, I'm telling you, man. And that was important because that got us a 2-2 draw. And I'm also going to I'm going to show this as well for jokes because do you remember this? Do you remember that day? basically, basically bossed him. That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. Okay, so let me just rattle off a little bit more about Hendo. Okay, so Hendo's had goals in him in his previous clubs. So 2011, 2012, 2013. So 2012, sorry, 2012, he got 5 goals. 2013, he got 4 goals. 2014, he got 6 goals. So predominantly in those years, he was played like Stevie was out on the right, and he played as like a right-sided midfielder, and he picked up quite a few goals when he played in those positions. It's interesting that he never kind of floated out there for us like Stevie did, because Stevie floated out there quite a lot, got quite a lot of goals. I remember that record season when he got an absurd amount of goals out on the right hand side. Stevie. It's interesting that Hendo didn't do that a bit more. Yeah, I've just said that. Yeah, he was right midfield. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. I also find it interesting that he's taken this move because I do think that he might still have an opportunity for England. I think Southgate might still pick him. He might have even spoken to him about this because England is a really, really big part of his career. And I thought I'd just mention it. Also, I really like the thing about Henderson with his dad, like celebrations with his dad as well. Um, I think that was really important. He was a policeman and an amateur footballer. He also survived cancer when he was younger. His dad, and he obviously brought him over for the Champions League final, and he was on the pitch in that. Like I remember that it was pretty it was pretty emotional. That like. Also, in case you didn't know, just a fun fact about Hendo. Um, did you know on the same day that he was announced Liverpool captain, he was also on the cover of FIFA 2016 with Lionel Messi? Did you know that? Did you all know that? Did anyone know that in the chat? Yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting fact that maybe people didn't know, but yeah, that day he got the captaincy, and he also um, got on the cover of FIFA with Lionel Messi. Interesting. So that's a little bit about Henderson. Um, what I will do though is I will also show this video here, which I think's a funny video, but a cool video as well, just in case you don't remember this. Hendo had skills. Hendo had serious skills. Are you ready for this? Do you remember that? Okay, I thought that was funny, and I hope you liked it. Uh, I've also got something else which I think you'll find funny or sad. I don't know. It's a bit of both if you ask me. So, so we all remember Adam Lallana, who was Hendo's best mate. He really was his best mate. So check this video out. Take two. I mean, he's really finding it tough. I mean, for me, I think Lallana just said it all, really, didn't he? Like, that's a tribute and a half from a guy that is his friend, was a teammate, you know, at the end of the day, like I could have said it any better. And yeah, I mean that's my tribute to Jordan Henderson over. I've got Albert on actually. He's gonna talk a little bit about Henderson. I'm not talking about any of the bad stuff. I'm talking about all of the good stuff because we have to give him the respect and the credit that he deserves because he deserves it. Evening.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've literally just finished the Jordan Henderson piece. But
I
if you've
was
got any,
watching.
if you got
I was
anything you
watching.
want to add, please do, mate. Because
Well,
he's had
I
some
think
real pelters life for some reason, and
I
not
think he's
deserved.
I think he was he's a very disciplined guy. You can tell. You don't need to be told. Um, he is a player who has probably let um, discipline and endeavor make up for his deficiency in talent. And you can compare Jordan Henderson to my favorite wasted talent, Ricardo Quaresma. Um, if Quaresma had the discipline of um, Jordan Henderson, he would probably have been Ballon d'Or winner several times ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. Because growing up at those times, Ricardo Quaresma was the thing. He was the person. He was the player in Portugal. So there are several examples of players that a lack of discipline has cost. I can think of another particular player that I personally really liked, and Jermaine Pennant. I thought he was an extraordinary player, and I could go on and on. Of course, the biggest, most tragic one, maybe in contemporary times, would be Paul Gascoigne, because I've watched football for long enough, and I don't think I have seen anybody who had the ability of Paul Gascoigne, the ability to take over a game like Gascoigne, but it's discipline. So, like I said, Henderson has done well with his. When he was, I'm sure you probably have said when he was coming to Liverpool, Liverpool supporters were very upset. We paid £20 million for him, and people were very upset. He served his time. He's done well, and I personally thought he should have left when the applause was loudest. He didn't do that, but wherever he's going, I think he deserves everything he's going to get. The team needs to move on, and he deserves whatever he gets. I think that the retirement package he's getting is well deserved, and that should be it.
I think that's really interesting about the whole side of Saudi Arabia coming for a guy that's all for LBGQ. I don't even know. Let me say it. Yeah, it's
LGBTQ.
that
Yeah,
thing with all the letters in.
they've added I to it, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I find it really interesting that that they've gone for that guy, but also a lot of people have said, there's talk sport presenters that have said, why on earth are they signing Jordan Henderson? Like they're not signing a Messi or anything, they're signing a Jordan Henderson. I think a lot of it is to do with they want to get people on their good side now. They want to show that they're willing to loosen those rules and change the way they're perceived across the world. Obviously, the World Cup was a big thing, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try for the World Cup in a couple of years as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that country was trying to put themselves on the map.
Well, maybe you don't know this, but Saudi Arabia are bidding for the 2030 World Cup. They are
Oh,
doing
okay,
it.
there you go then. I didn't
They
know
are
that.
doing it. They are doing it with. They are doing it with Egypt.
Oh,
Right?
that's interesting.
It's the reason why they are doing all this with the league. And let me explain what's going to happen to you. You know, 2030, right? Portugal, Spain, and Morocco have bid. You know that, right? And Saudi Arabia are bidding. They are using Egypt. CAF is the head. CAF has its headquarters in Egypt. Okay, and the Saudis are on the Asian side. So they have 205, more or less 205 votes cold if they decide to move ahead with the bid. Do you understand? Egypt controls CAF.
So they've already got their foot in the door, haven't they?
Yeah, they've already got their foot in the door. If should they end, you see, they are also under pressure. The Saudi royal family is under pressure because the Qataris have hosted it. There's a lot of competition in that area. You should know this. You're a soldier, you should know this. They have a lot of stiff competition in that area. Okay, so the Qataris did it. Nobody even gave them a chance. The Qataris did it, and the Saudis feel obligated that they can do better because they see themselves as the big brother in that neighborhood. The crown prince has allocated 26.5 billion dollars, or is it pounds, 26.5 billion, whatever, to promoting the league, bringing in all these players. Saudi PIF, Public Investment Fund, has bought 4 teams that they are promoting with government money. So it's it shouldn't be strange. They are encouraging them to go for these people. But for the people who are taking pot shots at Henderson, I don't get it. That he was a champion for LGBTQI. The fact that he goes to play in Saudi doesn't mean anything. And I'll tell you why. The same laws, Islamic laws, that are against the practice of homosexuality exist in Qatar. When he went to Qatar to go and play for England, who complained?
Nobody.
Why are we suddenly saying, right, that, and this is an issue, that there are people who feel they have a legitimate right to abhor the practice of homosexuality. Some countries have laws against it. The practice of it that is against the law does not mean that if you are a homosexual or you are a transgender or trans whatever it is, you can't come to the country. Right?
You still
Let me
can.
let me make it very simple. So there's a law against taking stuff from the store that you haven't paid for in the UK, isn't it? It's called shoplifting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I may be a kleptomaniac, right? I may
Yeah.
be a kleptomaniac, and kleptomania is a recognized illness.
Yeah.
Kleptomania is a disease where you can't help stealing. Okay?
Yeah.
If I come to the UK and I haven't gone to the boots to steal sandwiches, I don't get in trouble, do I? So
No.
I think that we should put it in context. As long as he goes there and obeys their laws, I don't know why he can't go play football.
I agree. I agree.
And those
Okay.
people who are making it seem like he should be a beacon for that community. The man is not even a practicing LGBTQI.
I know. I know.
He says we shouldn't discriminate against them.
Yeah, that's all.
So maybe even his going there will help the situation.
Exactly. Exactly.
It is against the law for you to have two wives in the
Yeah.
UK.
It's called bigamy.
It's called bigamy. If I brought my two wives to the UK, theoretically,
It's called bigamy. It's not called rotation.
exactly. But if I came to the UK with my two wives, who's going to arrest me?
Well, no one would
Right.
know unless unless you made it public.
Exactly. So those are the things. Look, the
Yeah.
Saudis and the Qataris and those people, they are not stupid, right?
I think
They,
I think they're trying to dilute things now. They're trying to make things a little less strained the way they were.
has allowed women to drive.
Yeah, it's just like Ronaldo. Like they're letting Cristiano Ronaldo live in the country with his girlfriend. Like
Exactly.
that's against that was against the law. I don't want to go off track too much, Albert. So I'm going to
No,
start
no,
the
I'm just saying
Fabinho thing
because
now. If
it's
that's all right.
part of the thing. You see, another thing, Kmack. If you have a mortgage, you've borrowed Saudi money. If you have a credit card, you've borrowed Saudi money. If you have a car loan, you've borrowed Saudi money. Are we going to extend our arguments towards that direction? Because the Saudi PIF is the second largest investors in public investment in the West, apart aside the Chinese. So if you go on that trajectory, it can be extended to say give up your credit cards, give up your car loan, give up your mortgage. It doesn't work, does it? Let's let the guy enjoy his peace.
Yeah.
He's given as much to Liverpool as he possibly can. He's spoken out in protection of a community that many people feel have been abused for far too long, and I'm one of them because I don't give a crap what you do in your bedroom, and I shouldn't. So he has spoken out enough. This is about the welfare of his family. The biggest community that he needs to look after is his family, and we should respect that. Isn't Why aren't we saying the same thing about Stevie Gerrard? Isn't Robbie
It's a
Fowler money?
it's a really
Isn't
good
Robbie
point. It's a
Isn't
really good
Robbie
point. Why
Fowler
aren't we?
managing a team in Saudi? Isn't
Yeah.
Robbie Fowler managing a team in Saudi as we speak? Why aren't we
It's
speaking out against him?
it's because it's because he's I don't get it. Like I really don't get it. Like, and the whole point of me doing this show is to just thank him. Like
It's not
talk
fair.
about what he's done, what he's achieved. Like
It's not fair on him. I mean,
it's not
I've
fair.
seen articles written in the Atlantic calling him a hypocrite. I mean, in the Daily Telegraph, Chris Bascom,
I know.
Kilman Keller. I mean, what is that?
I know. It's ridiculous. It's like
Man,
I
what
just feel
was
like
he supposed?
the world today is the world gone tomorrow.
What was he
Like
supposed to
everything's
do?
just forgotten so quickly, and it's
What
like
was he
something else to
supposed
be
to do?
angry at.
What was he supposed to do? Say no to £350,000 a week? Why would he want to do that?
I wouldn't even say it was that, Albert. I would say it's the fact that he came back fitter. He worked over the holidays. He'd worked. He'd done a boxing regime to get himself into incredible shape because he is, and he's gone to Klopp and said, "Okay, this massive deal's come over, and they've offered me this money. Can you let me know my assurances for next season?" And Klopp's turned around and said, "I'm not going to play you. Like, I'm not going to play you that much. But boss, I've really worked on my fitness, because that was the problem last year. I couldn't run. And Klopp said, well, I'm only going to use you as a bit part player. And he's just had to go away and think about it, talk to his family, and literally just evaluate things and think, well, okay, what's more important? My family now or me sitting on the bench? Like, I can earn twice as much money playing football than earning less sitting on the bench. So what do I do?
I mean,
And
Kmack, to think about it, if you have that kind of sit down, let's just be a fly on the wall in their family meeting, and let's just say his dad, his mom, his wife,
he would have
his
spoke to his
kids.
dad. He
Yeah.
definitely would have spoke
So
to his dad about it.
let's just say he called a family conclave and said, "This is the offer. Stevie G is the manager. They've offered me 350K. That's a whopping 1.5 from 1.4 million pounds a month. Okay, 1.4 million pounds a month. All right. I've spoken to Klopp. Klopp has said, and rightly so. I have
Yeah,
my issues with Klopp, but
yeah,
Klopp has said, and rightly so. Look, I can't play you that much anymore because we've gotten these new lads in. We've gotten Alexis in. We've gotten Zobo in. There's more coming. And frankly, you ain't cutting it no more. Right?
right.
If you laid that down before your family, which genuine family member looks you in the eye and said, "Oh, go back to Liverpool because you're a beacon of light for the LGBTQ"? I mean, how does that even make sense? Right? There's this folklore on Twitter. I'm sure you've seen it that when
I'm not on
um
Twitter, luckily.
oh, okay, so
I won't go on that.
when the when this guy Stevie G came back from the Middle East and um told his wife told his wife um told his wife that he's rejected the move to go to Dammam. His
Was
wife
this the
looked at him.
first one? This was
Yeah,
the
the
first
first one.
offer.
His
Yeah.
wife looked at him and said, "Get out of the house. And when you decide to go, come back." You
Yeah.
know, thing is this: he has no reason not to go. Another thing that many of the people who just keep talking, the largest Air Force base for the British Army in the Middle East, where is it? Do you know where it is?
It's Qatar, isn't it?
Before
Was
they
it
did the
Kandahar?
Qatar. No, it's Koba,
Oh, okay.
right?
Cuba.
No, Koba.
Sorry. What is that?
It's in Dammam.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
right there, right at the border. And Bahrain is 43 miles from Dammam. In fact, it's a 43-minute drive from Dammam to Manama in Bahrain. And you can basically, so he can actually live in Bahrain and come to work in Dammam every single day. It's
Wow.
just like commuting from Milton Keynes to
Bahrain is like
yeah,
Bahrain is like paradise.
exactly. And so there are many of the foreign footballers who have gone there, right?
Live
Who
in
live
Bahrain.
who live in Bahrain.
Oh, there you
So
go then.
let's have an informed conversation
Yeah, they were never going to live in Saudi Arabia. They were
and
going to live outside of Saudi Arabia and
let's
commute
stop
in.
let's stop the shrill trying to put the man to task for something that is wholly unnecessary. Clearly, the man is at the tail end of his career. Right? There's another city close by. I'm sure you can identify with that. It's called Daran. Right?
Yeah.
During the war with the first war with against Iraq. That was the head of operation. That was where they centered their operations. That's where General Shoskov was, Tehran. But the biggest air force base around there is called Al Koba. It's right in Dammam. So what is so? Are we recalling all the soldiers who are there? All the
No,
airmen who are there? Are we
no.
recalling that? I mean, let's have an informed and let's stop all this shrill, excuse me to put it, semi-literate talk that one man decides to go and play football in Saudi Arabia and all of a sudden he's a beacon of light. Why? What makes you think he can't be a beacon of light where he goes? I mean, what makes you think
He
that
could be a brilliant player in their league.
yeah, what
He's
makes you
just
think
not
that
going
if
to be
he
a brilliant
puts
player in our league.
what makes you
To be honest, like he still might have had a good season for us. We just
who
don't
knows?
know. But it is what it is. But no one's given Fabinho any of that stick.
Well,
Fabinho's just like, okay, yeah,
because Fabinho
you
is
got our
Brazilian,
blessing.
right? Fabinho is Brazilian, and he's not an icon. And you know, to make it even better, the guy has he came what 20 years ago? No, sorry, 12 years ago for 20 million, right? He's leaving, and they are paying
Hendo,
12.
Hendo,
So yeah,
Hendo.
Hendo, we paid 20 million for him.
16 million 13 years ago.
Okay, so 16 million 13 years ago,
We bought him when he was 20. He's 33 now.
right? So and now we're getting 12 million for him.
It's brilliant business.
It's great amortization. So all he's lifted all the trophies. It's time. It was the good time to go.
That's also a conversation which his family have probably had with him. They
Yeah,
probably said, or his dad's probably gone, "You've won everything, son. Like, what more do you have to prove to Liverpool? You've won everything with them. Like, you will leave you will leave as a world record holder. By the way, he's a world record holder because nobody's won
and I
that many
personally
trophies
think
in any club.
that the biggest, honestly, the biggest draw was Steven Gerrard
Yeah.
because apparently they are very good friends. So
Oh, they're really good friends. Yeah.
it's not it's and I'm very sure the conversation went like, hey, there's a bunch of money to be made here, man. You
So
and I both know.
Gerard was interviewed when we won the league,
Mhm.
and they said, so how do you feel about, like, Jordan Henderson lifting, the trophy that you never got to lift as a captain? And he said, it couldn't have happened to a better man. I couldn't have given my captaincy to a better person. Like, well deserved. He deserves it all. Like, that was his literal comments. Like,
Yeah.
that's coming from
So
Gerard. Like,
let's just let it go already. I don't see what the I mean, so Kiomin Kelleher and Chris Bascom and all those guys, they're trying to tell me that if they were told to go and represent their news organizations in Saudi
in
Arabia,
Saudi Arabia,
they wouldn't have gone.
they would have gone.
I mean, all the big banks in the world have branches in Saudi,
Yeah.
and they take people from here and they take them there. Why are they obligated to say they won't go?
No, no, no.
I mean,
Okay, so the Henderson thing we've covered. I've only got half an hour, so I need
yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
the
Go ahead.
Fabinho thing. So do you want to just sit in the background while I go through the
Go ahead.
Fabinho stuff? All right.
Go
You can
ahead.
stay on the camera, but I'm just gonna, because I've got a few things I want to go through
No,
with
I'll
Fabinho.
dial back in. Don't worry.
Are you
I'll
sure?
dial back in. Yeah, yeah, I will.
All right,
Of course
cool.
I will.
Okay, okay. I'll see you in a bit, mate. Big up, Albert. Cooking as usual, and yeah, Albert was definitely cooking. Stefano, big up, Stefano. Okay, so we've done the Henderson loving, and we've had a really good chat about Henderson, and we also had a bit more of an in-depth conversation around, like, the family and and the LGBTQ thing, and also, you know, moving to Saudi and all that kind of stuff as well. But I think it's now time to switch track a bit and talk a little bit about Fabinho, because this guy's 29 years old, came to Liverpool as a right back from Monaco, which is interesting. So he started his career at Fluminense, and he broke into the first team in 2012, and then he joined Portuguese Premier League club Rio Ave, and he signed a 6-year contract. And at that club, he played under Nuno Espirito Santos, who he's now just been signed by. So that's where that link is, by the way, in case you didn't know. Okay. He went on to join Real Madrid's second team, which is called Castilla, on a season-long loan in 2013, if you didn't know. And Jose Mourinho welcomed him in his hotel room when he did that, when he joined. Obviously, the Real Madrid B team can't be promoted into the Premier League. They're in like the lower league, which I think is brilliant what they do, by the way. It's also what happens in Austria with Red Bull Salzburg, sorry. You know, that's a great way of being able to manage players from one team to another. So a little bit about him as well. He then went to Monaco. So he joined Monaco from Real Madrid on a season-long loan as well. And that was in the 2013-14 season. He then was signed permanently, and then Liverpool signed him in 2018 for 39 million. Okay, we just sold him for 40. It's absolutely fantastic business. I didn't realize we had him since 2018. By the way, I thought it was less. Anyway, just a little bit about his career. So the interesting thing about him is he scores quite a lot of goals. Like when he went to Monaco 2015, he scored 6 goals. 2017, he scored 9 goals. Sorry, 2016, he scored 9 goals. 2017, he scored 7 goals. So he popped a few goals in for Monaco, and I remember him in the Champions League a lot because he was in the team that Mbappe was in. So I remember him through watching Monaco with Mbappe when Mbappe was banging him in that season that he had. And then he came to Liverpool 2018, and then the goals kind of dried up, mainly because he was played in the DM position, and the goals weren't really a thing. But he did have a good spurt of goals in 2021-22 when he scored 5 goals. That was kind of the season when we lost all our defenders, and he was relied upon, and he obviously got a few goals. Okay. So a little bit about Fab. So I'm going to show a couple of. Actually, I'm going to do this. Actually, where is it? Here it is. Here. Okay. So I talked a little bit about Henderson's win ratio at Liverpool. Fabinho's win ratio was 64% with him in the team. I mean, that is huge. It really is huge. So we won 139 games, we drew 40, and we lost 40. So If we weren't winning, we would draw. If we weren't losing, we were drawing with Fab in the team. And the numbers are really, really good, honestly. 151 games, 8 goals, 8 assists at Liverpool, and in total 219 games, 11 goals, 9 assists. I mean, that's quite interesting. The fact that he hasn't played a huge amount of games in his entire career outside of Liverpool. Like, he played a lot of games for Liverpool, and he's obviously won the Champions League, European Super Cup, Premier League, League Cup, and FA Cup. So he won a lot with us to a certain extent. And that's just a little bit about him. And I've got a video about, because he's not a massive goal scorer, and he's also not a massive assister, and he doesn't play in those positions where he influences games to that extent. There's not a huge amount that I can show you about him, but he was just an unsung hero. He really was. Like, I remember some of the games he had, like that Barcelona game. He was so important. Champions League final in Kiev, 2018. Really important player. Like, had a lot of big games where he just completely dominated games. So I'm going to show a couple of videos of Fab. Okay, here we go. Get ready for these. Here we go. Bosh. Just remember, like, the fact that he's got like 20-foot long legs. He also had a pass on him as well, Fab. Wow, he just ended his career with that tackle. What a penalty. I think that was against Darwin Núñez. This is brilliant, this. See you later, Foden. I don't think we realise how hard it's going to be to find a player to replace him. I really do think it's going to be really hard to find a player to replace him because he's just so niche. He really is so niche. And it's the type of player, like, teams don't have that destroyer in them anymore. Like, I thought it was quite old fashioned that we still had a destroyer type player and we never moved on from it. So Fab's going to be hard to replace. And I also touched on it in my last show. Like, one of the reasons Fab actually considered leaving is because he doesn't play for the international team anymore and he doesn't feel like he's going to get a chance again now. So, being at Liverpool was a massive factor in him getting into the international team. But now that that's not really on the cards, it is money orientated, like looking after his family. He's 29 years old. You don't know how many years he's got left in those legs because he's played a lot of games for Liverpool in a short amount of time. God, he was so good at penalties for us. Don't know why we didn't just keep him on them. Definitely want to see that Man City goal. I'm pretty sure we'll see that in this highlights reel. I think it's going to be really difficult to find a player that can break up play like he does and be able to put a 30-yard pass right onto someone's foot and to be able to, have the Brazilian flair and skill in the middle of the park to be so calm under pressure and take the ball and run past players if he has to. I think that's a really niche type of player. And I don't think there's that many out there that can do all of it, but he could. And I don't believe he was going. Like, I don't believe for 1 minute that Klopp even thought that he was going to be sold. Like, I really don't. But you can't turn down the amount of money that you paid for the guy. Like, back in 2018. Like, now, you can't turn it down. I mean, do you remember when he played in defence for us? He was the best centre back in the country that year. Anyway, so a little bit tribute there to Fabinho, and rightly so. Big up Kismet. Oh, that's an interesting question. I'm actually going to dig that goal out now, by the way. I'm just going to dig that out now because it wasn't on that reel. So just give us a sec. Okay, I'm going to show Fabinho goals. Okay. There we go. Let's have a look at some of his goals. Oh, there it is. There it is. So a little bit of a tribute to Fabinho there. That Man City goal was an absolute worldie, wasn't it? I forgot about the goal he scored during COVID against Palace. That was an absolute thumper. So yeah, I mean, he will be missed. He'll be really hard to replace. Like a lot of people have obviously said, you know, his time's up. You know, a lot of people have been saying that that he's needed to move on. I think he would have been okay for another year. I really do. I just think he needed a bit more legs around him and not Henderson. But you know, you can't turn down 40 million for a player you paid 39 million for back in 2018. You just can't. It's brilliant business. The only issue is now we've lost our captain, our vice captain. We've lost Bobby Firmino. We've lost Fabinho. You know, Mane was like the year before. It's a huge change in the team, and for me, I think top four has just got to be the aim next season. With that much change in the team, trying to find the perfect guy to fit that position, I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard. I don't think there's many players that could go into that position and do what Fabinho did. I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 in the world that fit seamlessly into that position. You know, Thiago is definitely one, I feel, could do it if he stayed fit. If he had a Trent Alexander-Arnold around him, who's more defensive minded, who's got that brain, that like defensive midfield brain, which he kind of has being a defender. I think Caicedo could do a job. I think Tyler Adams could do a job. These are my picks. I think the Tchouaméni is made for that role. Like, he could just walk straight into the team and do that job without a shadow of a doubt. I think Tyler Adams could do that as well. For me though, it's got to be Florentino Luis. Like, I did a show on his stats yesterday on DMs. He is just phenomenal. He's prime Fabinho stats. I think he comes in with the likes of maybe a Trent Alexander-Arnold next to him, or even if you're going to play him as inverted right back, Trent, and you obviously use Florentino Luis as the DM in the middle three, then you've got Dominic Szoboszlai on the right, and you've got McAllister on the left, and you've got Florentino Luis in the centre. I think that works. I think versus Chelsea, if we don't get this guy, or we don't get a guy in, I think Trent could do a job there. So you've got Trent as DM, you've got McAllister left, you've got Szoboszlai right, and I think you could use Gomez as a right back. I could genuinely believe you could use Gomez as a right back. Like, I think Gomez is better at a right back now than he is as a centre back for me. Sorry, my dog was barking. Have a look at some of these. The goal Jota scored yesterday. I mean, I've spoke about this before on other podcasts. What Alexis McAllister can do is he can make the decision for the striker before he actually touches the ball. And that's what he did for Jota's second goal. He put the ball in such a good position that Jota didn't need to touch the ball. All he needed to do was kick the ball into the goal. Didn't need to take a second touch, nothing. It was literally on a plate, on the perfect foot, on the perfect side for him to push it into the net. Like, that's what McAllister can do. Like, this is the guy who makes Núñez 30 goals a season. He just does. He really does. Núñez doesn't have to think. He just needs to strike the ball into the goal. And this is what McAllister can do. And I'm very, very excited. I thought McAllister was absolutely fantastic yesterday. I thought Dominic Szoboszlai was absolutely fantastic yesterday. Like, the pair of them really excited me. Like, the touches, the skill, the passing, even Trent. Trent looked, oh my God, Trent looked like Trent from 2018, 2019. He did. Even had the same haircut. Like, Trent looked like this. I'm gonna show this video, okay? Also a little bit of Hendo dancing. I don't know about you, but watching these makes me smile. It really does. They're totally out of time as well, which is hilarious. um, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the, I felt really sorry for Quancy yesterday. He came on at half time, and that's his first debut for the team, and he gets absolutely like thrown to the lions by Shimaka's, who just runs off, completely runs away from his position into the centre of midfield, doing whatever I think he was doing, and just leaves Quansah completely out to the lions, and he's got literally like two players on him, and there's absolutely nothing he could do about that goal. Absolutely nothing he could do about it. I thought he was pretty good actually. I thought Quansah played pretty well. I thought the other kid, what's his name? Callum? Is it Callum? I can't remember his name. I thought he played quite well. I thought he played quite well. He's actually a left back. He's not a left winger, so he did quite well in a position that he wasn't used to. I had no idea about the Shimaka's position. Like, was he like a DM? Like, I was confused because I don't think he knew what he was doing. Absolutely, both legends. A lot of characters. A lot of characters have gone. A lot of characters have gone. The interesting thing about it as well, Stefano, is this is a bit shades of when the likes of Lovren and Lallana left the club. You know, it's shades of a lot of characters leaving, a lot of dressing room voices, a lot of, you know, the guys that everybody loved, leaving the team. When Lovren left, Salah was in bits. Like, Salah and Lovren are like this. Like, you know, when Mane left, Salah, I don't think Salah was that fussed. Like, I don't think he got on with Mane that much. I don't think Mane was a very, very likable character, like, in the team. I think he was just very, very hard working. He was a nice guy, but I don't think he was a guy everybody loved. A bit like Keita. I don't think Keita was a guy that everybody loved, but he worked hard and did a good job. Like, I mean, sorry, Mane. Keita was always injured, but I just think it's interesting. I'm only going to stay on for another 10 minutes because I just wanted to finish off the Fabinho stuff. But yeah, so out of 10, I'm going to ask the chat. Out of 10, how would you rate Henderson and Fabinho's career at Liverpool? Out of 10, have they achieved everything they could? Have they performed to the best that they can? Like, when they've been in their peak? I would say they have. I would say they've done everything they can. They've done the best job they can. They haven't let us down. 9 out of 10. I agree. I absolutely agree. Like, there's never ever been any issues with Henderson or Fabinho off the field, on the field, model professionals, done the best they can. You know, even look, guys, even when they both got called to play as centre backs, they did a fantastic job and they got us into the Champions League. Last year we were only 1 or 2 games away from being in the Champions League again. It was that close. If the season had carried on for a couple more games, we'd have beat Man United. We'd have got in there because Man United's form was dropping. Newcastle's form was dropping. We'd have done it. A few more Prem titles, I agree. I agree. But I can't blame those two guys for us not winning more Premier titles. Actually, Henderson getting that red card probably stopped Rodgers from getting a Premier League title. But that wasn't Henderson's fault. Henderson was asking to be subbed 5 minutes earlier. You know, we can look into that. But Henderson wanted to be taken off the pitch because he was dead. He was flat on his feet. He was completely redlined. And he made that tackle because he had nothing left in the tank. And losing him for those 3 games, for me, ended the title run for Rodgers. Big mistake. Big mistake. You know, Henderson was a massive catalyst in us getting as close as we did to the title. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Actually, I'm going to end the stream now, actually, because I think we've ended it on a good point. They both leave legends for me. If you have joined in the chat and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you could hit that like button, that would be fantastic. And if you've got any comments or any ideas for any upcoming shows, please write it in the comments. I appreciate it. I'm still learning this as I go along, and I'm enjoying talking about football and collaborating with all you guys and girls out there. But today was a tribute to 2 guys. They leave legends for me, and they will be missed in the dressing room. And I wish them the very best in their future careers. And I hope they earn loads of money and retire happily ever after. That's a good idea, actually, fantasy football. I haven't thought of that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I might do that. Yeah, I might do that. Good shout there, Kismet. If you actually watch the show back, Stefano, I actually played the football skills thing that Hendo did when he was a kid. So you might find that funny. But that's all for me, and I will be on probably another show in the next couple of days, but I think I'll probably take a break till next Thursday, and maybe I'll do a transfer update like after the weekend. Probably have a break for a bit because it's been a bit crazy. But I'll still be in the group, so if anyone wants to message me, have a chat, we can do that. I'm still doing that on the WhatsApp. I'll still be posting stuff that I find out. I will give you an update on the Crystal Palace lad, though. The Crystal Palace lad was wanted by PSG last year, but he never got the move. Okay, he's got real issues with language as well, so he still hasn't learned the English language, so he still speaks French or Mali. It's like Mali French or something like that because he's from Mali, isn't he? PSG wanted him, and they didn't go for him. But now they're getting rid of Verratti, means that there's going to be a space available. So PSG are going to sign Sangar. Is Sumar or Sangar? I can't remember his name. The guy from Crystal Palace. I've totally forgot his name now. Anyway, the interesting thing is, if he goes to PSG, because he's not come to Liverpool, by the way, he's not come to Liverpool. If he goes to PSG, Crystal Palace are going to sign Thuram as a replacement for him. Okay, and then Nice will get their bidding war because they'll have 60 million to spend. So that's an interesting update, just to let you know. Amrabat is going to Man United. He was looking for a move to Barcelona, but Barcelona haven't got the money. He was also looking for a move to Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid haven't got the money, so they're not gonna take him. So he's going to Man United. He's not coming to Liverpool. Okay. We've had conversations with him, but nothing's come of that. Klopp started talking about Jude Bellingham during the meeting or something, like the last time. That was at Christmas, and that didn't go down well, and the agents walked off. We're not linked with any right backs. We're not linked with any left backs. The Colwell stuff's gone quiet now because they've had a major injury with Fofana, so he's going to be out for another couple of months. They've also haven't got Bashirili, or I can't remember how you say his name, but he's not going to be available either. So they're down to about 3 defenders. They're also looking to take Mark Gahey back from Palace because they have a buyback on him. So they can buy him back for a certain fee. I don't know how much that fee is, but Chelsea are looking to take him back. He cost Palace 20 million, so they'll probably get double the money, maybe more, maybe 50 million, I don't know. But they're looking to take Mark Gahey back to Chelsea and connecting him and Colwell back up because they played together a number of years ago through the youth team. So that's an interesting one to look at. We're linked with, we're not linked with Kimmich. Kimmich isn't coming to Liverpool. Like, that's not going to happen. So the Thiago thing's interesting because Barcelona are still looking to try and get Barcelona. Verratti's not going to Liverpool. That's completely nonsense. If Verratti goes anywhere, Verratti will go to Atletico Madrid to play for Simone. Okay, watch out for that one. There's loads and loads of stuff going on. If we get more money available, then we're going to be linked with more players. It's an interesting one. The pre-season's going to play a big part in it, I think. But look out for Florentino Luis's name pop up because I'm about 80% sure that he's the guy we're looking at. I really am. He played with Enzo Fernandez a couple of years ago as well. So we've been looking at him. All right. That's it. I'm done now. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.